This is a 1952 Ford F1. It's sitting on a 1978 Ford F-150 chassis. A touch of the key and she fires right up. She shifts into gear well. Transmission shifts great. Drives nice and straight down the road. No, not any really wander in the steering wheel. I mean, maybe an inch. Very, very little for a truck like this. Brakes work great. Stops straight and true. The truck does have a little bit of an exhaust leak on the on the right side. It's kind of like right under here, so you can hear that. Really like the sound of the exhaust back here. It's just got a nice old truck sound to it. That's a 351 modified engine. It's a really desirable engine. Like I said, it's got the power disc brakes in the front, power steering. The engine runs great. Lights work. We've got the lights on right now. You can see that the lights are on in the back. Brake lights work. Turn signals work. Shut it off here. The vent opens and closes like it's supposed to. Locks into place, which is great. That's the air conditioning in this truck. It works right. Door panels look good. Windows roll up and down like they're supposed to. It's got two newer style gauges in here. They're not hooked up. They do work, but they're not hooked up. Horn works. Well, okay, maybe that. It's got a little loose wire. I was honking the horn at the guys earlier today. Nice thing is, it doesn't have a molested dash. It's unmolested. Original cutout for the radio, which is great. No headliner. It's got a seat cover on it, Mexican blanket style that matches with the red. Little spot of rust right there, and a little bit of rust on that side on the floor pans. Other than that, the floors are solid. Bottoms of the door is solid. Cab corners are solid. Walk around on the other side. Bottom of the door looks good. Cab corner solid. Little, that's metal too. One tiny little rust hole right there. This is like a 95% rust-free truck. The body's really straight. It's in primer gray, and this thing looks like it was probably primered 15 years ago. I mean, it's old. It's got a really old primer on it, but I think it looks really cool. Really, really desirable look. You know, the old kind of hot rod look. It does sit up a little bit high because it's on that F-150 chassis from 1978. So I don't know, to me, I might think about lowering this truck down. If it was about 4 inches lower, man, it would look like a totally different truck. But it rides down the road great. There is one other thing that I needed to point out, because this is purely set down on that 78 truck. The steering column is set over just a hair from center. So you could actually see that center would maybe be like right between the gauges. And if you look, you can see that center's here, and maybe the steering column's about 2 inches set over. When you're riding down the road, it feels good, but if somebody projecting on it may want to move that steering column back over just a little bit. It's just something that, if there's anything in question to me, I always like to disclose it. I'd rather you know about it before you buy the truck. I mean, it wouldn't keep me from buying the truck. I think it's really cool. The body's super straight on it, like I said. It's in primer gray. If this was my truck, I'd probably leave it like this. I think this is a really cool look. A touch of little surface rusty spots around it in various little areas, but man, the body's actually very, very straight on it. It wouldn't take much to block this thing up and put a good paint job on it. Maybe if you were gonna do that, you might want to put a new tailgate on it. But if you're gonna leave it with this kind of old school look, then you know, you just leave it alone. Like I said, if it was mine, I'd probably lower it. I might put some bags on it so that I could raise and lower it, put an air system on it, air ride system. It does have an F2 emblem on it that was actually pulled out of a junkyard off of another truck that couldn't find an F1. But if you decode the VIN number, this is actually an F1, an original V8 truck. Of course, like I said, it's a 1978, so the undercarriage is all 1978, rust-free. Frame rails, nice heavy-duty front suspension system. And the thing rides down the road really, really solid. Surface rust on the step-ups, but no major rust. There is no major rust on this truck at all. Only those couple spots I showed you in the floor pan. There's tiny itsy-bitsy holes. You know, a couple little itsy-bitsy holes here and there. There's one little spot right there in the front of the inner fender well. Like I said, the cab corners are in good shape. Back of the fenders under the inside fender wells are really good. Truck looks really good underneath. Of course, it's got a heavy duty rear end. Very clean. Little rust repair done right there on the back. Step up's in good shape. There's some old dirt and stuff under there. This was really and truly a farm truck. We got this guy off we got this truck off a guy who owned about 1,000 head of cattle. I got the fringe benefit of getting some free beef from the guy when we picked up the truck. We're gonna be having some delicious hamburgers on our Aloha Friday tomorrow. Nice clean inner fender wells. So this is a great truck. This is the kind of truck that I think a lot of guys are looking for. It's got all the modifications that make it drive like a newer vehicle, but it still looks like the old school with the old moons. It's got the beauty rings on it and the new wheels. It's got really good tread on the tires. Lights work, brake lights work, turn signals work. So this thing's ready to go down the road. Actually the vacuum actuated windshield wipers still work right now. It doesn't have the arms on it, but they do work. The glass is in good shape. It would just take real little to take very little to, yeah, that one's a little bit stiff, but it does roll up. The line's rolling that one up.
Not too bad.
Yeah. So it would take very little to you know, really, this truck doesn't need anything to drive it right now. Yeah, Glenn wants to roll those windows up for you. Show you they roll up.
That one's a little more sticky.
Yeah, not bad. So there you have it. This is a really cool truck, and I mean, you just start driving this thing right now. I mean, this is a truck you could drive to work every day, really. And you could even load the back up with, you know, you could load the back up with heavy stuff if you wanted to. You probably want to put another bed in it. It does just have a simple piece of plywood laying in there right now, which gives it a nice finished off look, but it's not super heavy duty or anything. So there you have it. 1952 Ford F1. Really cool hot rod truck. And I think this is going to make somebody a really fun toy, or maybe even a work truck or shop truck.